currently have two virtual assistant clients, and today I want to talk about how I got those clients and my tips and tricks for you to get your own clients as a virtual assistant. A lot of people have asked me, how did you start? For me, it was a little different. I kind of just happened to get my first client. So I was working, this was back in 2024 when I still had a 9-to-5 job. I was working and I had some credit card debt, and I was trying to find ways of how to pay that credit card debt off. And at the time I was doing Pilates. I had a membership at a local Pilates studio, and the owner of the studio sent out an email to all of the members saying like, hey, I'm hiring for these positions. And one of them, the title was like administrative assistant. And I don't remember it having like too much details. It just said like administrative assistant. And so I was like, I wonder what that means. Could I do that? The other two things that I think it was two other positions, I was like, I can't do those, or I don't want to do those. But I was like, administrative assistant, what does that mean? So I went to class. The next time I had class, I waited around. I waited till everybody else left, just being a little creeper, just waiting for everyone else to leave. And I was like, hey, I saw your email. What does this mean? And she was like, oh, well, I need someone who can help me do this, that, and the third. And I was like, I'm capable of doing this, that, and the third. And it was kind of like open-ended, and there were multiple things that she could need help with. And so we had a conversation about it, and I told her like, hey, I'm going to sit down and really think, like, based on what you're telling me, I'm going to sit down and really think of the services that I could provide. So I went home and I really thought through like all the different possible things that I could do as a virtual assistant. And I created a PDF that listed out all of the different services. And I specifically like designed the PDF. And even that PDF itself was kind of an example of like, hey, these are the type of things I could do, because I created like a graphic. I didn't just send a Word doc that had like bullet points of things that I could do. I designed a whole PDF or flyer, I guess you could say, of possible things that I could do. So one section was email management. So you can do things like answering their emails for them, responding to emails. You could be organizing their inbox for them. So there's actually a lot of things that you can do within like Gmail. So there's different labels that you can have, and you can, if they have an inbox that has like 10,000 emails, maybe you can go through it and say like, hey, I created labels. So these are potential clients. These are potential like local businesses that want to work with you. Maybe if this person travels a lot, these are all of your travel emails. These are all of your emails from different vendors. Like you could go through and separate all those things for them. You can also do things like manage their calendar. So if they are a super busy person, they have a lot of appointments, they have a lot of meetings, they travel a lot, you can control their calendar and say like, hey, you have a meeting, you have 3 meetings today, you are traveling and you're going to be out of town from the 14th to the 27th. You have this going on, you have a speaking engagement this day, you have to do this. So you can be the one who is controlling their calendar. I spoke on it already, but the sense of travel management. If this is someone who travels a lot, traveling, like I love traveling, it can be fun, but there's a lot of logistics that come behind traveling. If you don't know this, then you're probably not the person who plans the trips in your friend group or in your family, but there's always that one person who is the planner, and we know that it's actually a lot of logistics to go through, and sometimes your client may not have the time to do all that. So that's where you can come in handy. You can be the one who is researching the best hotels to stay at and booking the hotel. You can be the one who is finding the flights and booking that for them. You are the one who can be tracking their expenses and saying like, hey, you spent this, all these different things were when you traveled out of town that time. You can do all of that for them. There's administrative things. You can be the one who is organizing and creating different documents. You can be the one who's standardizing procedures for them. So you can create documents like, hey, this is how we do this. this is the order of steps that we do for this process. You can be the one who, if you're very like systems focused and you already know like, hey, in order for this to happen, this needs to happen first. If you naturally think like that, you can go through their entire business. Or if you're a virtual assistant for like a person, you can go through their personal life and say like, hey, you need a system. We're going to come up with all the different systems for you. Another category is social media. Some businesses need help with social media. So you can go in and you can say, hey, we're going to create a content strategy for you. So you're going to post reels on Instagram and Facebook. You're going to cross post. You're going to do reels every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you're going to do a carousel every Tuesday and Thursday. Like, you can come up with that schedule for them. And not just coming up with the schedule, but you could be the one who's creating the graphics. Maybe you are creating the carousels for them. Maybe you are coming up with the ideas for the reels. Maybe they already have all of the reels and carousels created, but they need it to be posted. So maybe they send all those things to you and you are the one who is scheduling them to go out. You're the one who's coming up with the captions for each one, and you have it scheduled out so that every single day of the week, all the videos just go up. And that person feels relieved because they're like, I didn't have the time to do this, because scheduling time for content to come out does actually take time to do. You could spend anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour going into each app and scheduling out each video to go out, and you just save them time by doing that. And the last category is design. So you could do things like website design, you could do graphic design. If you know how to do photography, you can do that. You can do video editing. There's a lot of different possibilities here. So basically, as a virtual assistant, your job is to make it easier for them to do their job. Anything that they don't have time to do, or anything that they just don't want to do, they can ask you to do it. So I sent the list over to my first client. We went through the list and we identified the things that she needed, and we just went from there. I also provided a price list with 3 different options: a low ticket, mid ticket, and high ticket. So the lowest one was 20 hours per month for $600 per month. So that's basically an estimate of like, hey, how many hours do you think you need help with per month? If it's 20 hours, then I would be making $600. 30 hours per month, I'd make $750 per month. And then for 40 hours per month, that would be $1,000 per month. So $600 for 30 hours per month, that is $20 per hour. All the way up to, for the 40 hours a month package, that would be $25 per hour. And the prices, those were based on me, like, this is my first time being a virtual assistant. This is our first time working together. And it was really just like figuring things out type of pricing. And so the idea was starting at this rate, and then over time, as things change, we can revisit it and increase the prices from there. But the client that I have, they actually did not need 20 hours per month. Instead, they needed more like 10 hours per month. And because they didn't need as many hours, I basically cut it in half, and instead of $600 per month, I make $300 per month. The way that I got client number 2 was actually through client number 1. So client number 1 is an entrepreneur, and I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs just have other entrepreneur friends. And so she was talking to her entrepreneur friends, and one of them was like, I need help. Like, I need help with this. I need help with that. Like, I don't have time to do this stuff. And so she told her like, hey, why don't you talk to my assistant? And she also knew that like I had been laid off, and she knew that I was looking for more work. And so she referred me. And with client number 2, like once she had my information, we talked on the phone for like maybe 10 minutes, and then we met in person. And I think I was with her for like maybe around an hour, just talking through like what she actually needed and how I could help. And she basically like hired me on the spot, and she was like, when can you start? And I said, is next week good? And she was like, you're hired. And that's how that relationship started. And this one is different from client number one. So client number one didn't need as much help, but client number two needs more hours per month, and she also needs different services. So client number one, I primarily write the weekly newsletter. So I come up with the idea for the newsletter, I write it, I create the graphics for it, and I schedule it to go out. And I'm proud to say that I have been working there for like a year and a half, and that newsletter has gone out every single week for a year and a half. Whew, it's a lot. And so I write the newsletter, and I also handle her client relationships or communication. So I'm the one who responds to emails for all of her clients. For my virtual assistant client number two, the things that I do for her, I don't talk to any of her clients. Instead, I also create a weekly newsletter for her. So coming up with the ideas and creating the graphics and writing those and sending those out. But I also create graphics for her for social media. And I've only been working with her for a couple of months, but that's what I'm doing right now, and it could grow. And because she knew up front, like, hey, I have a lot of things that I want you to do, and there's a lot of different things that you could do for my business, I do a different pricing model with her, and instead I do hourly, where client number one, I'm basically on a retainer and it's a fixed price every month, but client number two is hourly. So that's how I got my clients, and those are the different things that you can do as a virtual assistant. If you want some advice around the pricing, so there's pros and cons to each way, versus hourly versus a retainer. With a retainer, sometimes you work above the set hours and sometimes you work below. And so when setting the price for that retainer, you want to make sure that you are pricing yourself based on the value that you are bringing. You want to make sure that you are being compensated for the work that you do, whether you spent 2 hours on it or if you spent 10 hours on it. It's more so about the impact that you are having on the business. However, with the hourly model, it's nice because you know that you are getting compensated for every single hour that you're working. But I have learned that the more I do it, the faster I get. So it's like, if I can create a newsletter in an hour, but it's good, shouldn't I be compensated more for that versus if it took me 2 hours and it's not a good newsletter? You know, like you're almost punished for being proficient at what you're doing. That's why it's like, it can be tricky. I guess in an ideal world, it would take time for you to realize like your experience level, and time for you to realize how fast you can work on something or how quickly you can get a job done while still keeping a certain standard to your quality of work, and then pricing it accordingly. Another thing to add, you also want to make sure that you are creating boundaries up front. Before you start working together, you should know these are days that I'm going to work and these are days that I'm not going to work. Because especially if you were doing this part-time and you're only supposed to be doing like a certain amount of hours per week, just because you're working for someone, does that give them the, option to email you at 7 a.m. or at 9 p.m.? Are you expected to answer emails on a Saturday? Are you expected to do things on a holiday? What if you go on vacation for a week? What happens to their business then? You need to think about these things and discuss these things with your client up front so that they don't get in the way of y'all's working relationship when you do start working together, because you already had this conversation and y'all already know what your boundaries are. And once y'all have this conversation, write it down, have an actual job description for what you do, what your tasks are, what your expectations are, and the two of you can know these things up front. And like I said, what this does is it protects you as the assistant. So, you can say like, hey, this actually isn't in my job description. Or you could say, hey, Remember when we said that I don't work on Saturdays and I don't work after 5 p.m.? Also, if you were the one hiring a virtual assistant, you know what to expect, and it sets both of you up for success later down the road. I hope this video was helpful. There's a lot of different things that you can do as a virtual assistant. So like I was saying before, I would really just think through like what your skill sets are and what you like doing, and finding someone who needs those services. For me, it was word of mouth, or it was someone who I just happened to already know in real life and they needed help. But you can also list your services online. There's different websites that you can say like, I'm a virtual assistant, hire me, that type of thing. Or you can do your own outreach, and you can go to different communities, or you can go to different locations in your community, different business owners, different entrepreneurs, and say like, hey, do you need help? These are the things that I can do. Do you need a virtual assistant? Just asking like, hey, do you need help? And yes, like businesses or entrepreneurs can need virtual assistants, but people in their personal lives can also need assistance. Think about single parents who need help. Like, hey, I just need someone. Like, I need someone who can schedule my doctor's appointments for me. I need someone who can create grocery lists for me. I need someone who can do this. Like, people need help in their personal lives as well, because life gets messy. There's a lot of different things going on in life, right? So if you can help someone in any way, then that can lead into a virtual assistant position. I hope this was helpful, learning how I got into being a virtual assistant. It's definitely been helpful to me ever since I started. Whether I had a traditional job or not, it's always great to have a side hustle and make some extra money. If you're interested, I would definitely encourage you to look into it. So I hope this video was helpful. Leave some comments down below if you have any other questions, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and I will see you next time. Bye.